Book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, verse 17. Behold, the plagues, calamities, draw nigh, and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the ninth month, bringing forth a son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the earth shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. All praises to Yahweh, Bashem Habashah, Wahara Kakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, Shalom to the hopeful elect and seeking to be the elect of the nation of Israel, and scattered abroad amongst the heathen, some look like the heathen, beginning with the 144,000. Preachers, teachers, and prophets, Shalom. And we see that America is constantly getting hit with calamities, plagues. It's the same thing, all right, on all sides. And it's bringing America down to their knees. It's bringing these citizens down to their knees. They've been broken down. All right, as you see at the top, DHS shut down leads TSA officers working without pay. It's 8 hours ago. And this is again. The last one was what, 43? The last one lasted 43 days. The government shut down. And we're gonna just play some videos. But before that, and you see all these calamities hitting America on all sides, and people are being affected by it. Their moods are being affected by it. All right, these people are going crazy. All right, and people soon are going to fight against this government and each other because they're tired, burnt out, and they're lacking resources. And that's why we got to truly pay attention to these people and their moods, read their spirits, and use wisdom concerning how we move and what we say to them, man, and how we move around them. All right? It's simple. What's that scripture? The people's mood change as the moon, I think. Something like that. Let's see. It's in Ecclesiastes. Let me see. Here one right here. Ecclesiastes 27 and 11. The discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changeth as the moon. All right, and these people are fools. You said, if you get offended by that, then no real. Because prophecy is playing out. All right, this is prophecy. Us as a hopeful elect that's seeking to be the elect of Israel, that's serving Yahweh Shema Shai, our moves aren't changing. Remember, hey, y'all that wanted to be in the spirit of mirth and party, it's over for y'all, man. There is no making you all happy. All right? So this is the downfall of you all's kingdom, man. All right? And 2/3 of Israel, you are cleaving unto Babylon. All right? So us as a hopeful elect seeking to be the elect, we're rejoicing. Why? Because it's prophecy. And these foolish people, moves are changing. All right? Their discourse changing, their moves changing. All right? It says, if thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time, but be continually among men of understanding. The discourse of fools is irksome, and their sport is in the wantonness of sin. You see, and that's what's being taken away, man. All right? This place finished. It's another scripture. I got to find it, man. Their moods is changing. This right here is going to their conversation, which your conversation is based upon your mood. But it's another one I want to get. Hold on. All right, here's one. Ecclesiastes 37:17. The countenance is a sign of changing heart. You see? So your countenance, your mood is a sign of the changing of the heart, meaning the mind. And these people are constantly being affected, man, mentally. And they're being broken down. So these people really about to freak out, man, and start going crazy. All right? And when we read 2nd Esdras 15, it's going to tell you what's going to be going on in these times. Now you get, what's the other one? Ecclesiastes 13. And 25, the heart of a man changeth his countenance, whether it be good or evil, and the merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance. You see, and people are most definitely not in a cheerful time. So these people's heart are not merry. All right, they're in a time of sorrow. All right, we're in a time of sorrow. The calamities, the plagues, people are being affected mentally, man. All right. It says a cheerful countenance is a token of a heart that is in prosperity, and the finding out of parables is a wearisome labor of the mind. So if a cheerful countenance is a sign of the heart that is in prosperity, so when you're in a time of sorrows, it's a time of what? You losing. All right. So you know, hey, this place is just done, man. This place finished. All right, it's finished. All right, it is finished. It's another one, man. His countenance changes as the moon, but it's okay. We're not gonna spend too much time. I don't want to waste a lot of time on it. You know. Now let's get this. This is what it's gonna lead to. 2 Edges 15. See, all these calamities are leading up to these prophecies. A boiling over, man. All right. 2 Edges 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard the kings nor princes, and the course of their acts shall stand in power. Hey, because who is holding people back? The government. Who is lying to the people? The government. All right? All this truth coming out. They're being exposed. Hey, they cutting jobs. They talking about they're adding jobs, but people applying for jobs and can't get the jobs. You know, because the jobs are for AI technology. You name it, man. They lying to the people. These people cannot get ahead. They're tired of working for free, or should I say, working for nothing. All right, they're tired of trying and not benefiting from trying. Okay, so these people are gonna come up against or go up against each other and the government. Because you see, with all this tension, they're going to take it out on one another. People popping off at the mouth, and anger, tensions building up, and trying to do this, that, and the third, and people got what they need, and they don't have, and people going to get it. You see? They can fight against police officers and these alphabet agencies. Hey, I still getting paid, though. All right? Yeah, they got that $75 billion package the last time. So they're not affected by it. Hey, also some of them quitting. Hey, they stressed out. They can't deal with the pressure and what they got to do and what's being done to these so-called illegals. Hey, they find out that they're not going after the illegals, and most of the people that they're snatching up are law-abiding citizens. All right? Less than 14% of these people are illegals. All right? Everybody else are illegals, are law-abiding citizens. All right? Hey, then agents are not getting paid. You see? So hey, even a lot of them going to tap out and turn up against their own units, their own agencies. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled. The house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. That's what it's going to lead to. Straight up pandemonium. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their house with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. That's these calamities, man. These afflictions. See, this is going to when people are finally fed up. Yahweh Shema Shai can put the spirit on them to really go all out. All right, now let's play these videos. Then I ain't gonna say nothing else. They put up in the name of Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom.
Part of the federal government has been shut down for days after Homeland Security funding ran out on Friday.
Democrats say they won't approve a spending measure until Republicans make more reforms to immigration enforcement. That's after ICE agents shot and killed 2 Americans in Minneapolis last month.
Congress is in recess, although both chambers are on notice if a deal to end the shutdown is reached.
David Horak is at the Ford Airport with the impact this could have on you. David?
Good morning, Teresa and George. TSA officers have been pretty busy so far this morning with the first wave of passengers flying out of Ford Airport. And the difference for this government shutdown is that air traffic controllers up above are getting paid, whereas those TSA officers are not. And they are still dealing with the recently fresh memory of the last government shutdown, because last year's shutdown lasted 43 days, in which TSA had to temporarily close 2 checkpoints at Philadelphia International Airport, and the government had to order airlines to cut domestic flight schedules. This shutdown could strain airports faster, according to travel analysts, and even a few absences at smaller airports like Ford could create delays with just one security checkpoint in that hypothetical. Airlines might hold flights for passengers stuck at security lines as well, and behind the scenes, baggage screening could slow down too. In a joint statement, U.S. Travel, Airlines for America, and the American Hotel and Lodging Association warned that travelers in the U.S. economy cannot afford to have essential TSA personnel working without pay, which increases the risk of unscheduled absences and call-outs, and that ultimately can lead to higher wait times and missed or delayed flights. So if you are flying out of Ford Airport anytime soon, arrive early, pack smart, check the airport's website for the screening time for you to get through the screening yourself and eventually to your gate before you leave as well towards the airport. And also be patient with TSA officers that are, again, working without pay. Case in point, they have been continuously reminding travelers coming here to make sure that they're in the right line, from standard checkpoint to TSA pre-check to clear. Live at Ford Airport, David Horak, News 8.
Too, as we turn to that partial government shutdown in effect for the Department of Homeland Security after funding ran out at the end of the day on Friday.
That means roughly 1 million federal workers are either working without pay or furloughed, including tens of thousands of people from right here in Michigan.
We're talking key agencies like the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, the U.S. Secret Service, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the Transportation Security Administration.
Now, the problem at the center of discussions in D.C., disagreements over reform to immigration and customs enforcement.
This shutdown is making many travelers anxious, as a lot of them are recalling last year's 43-day government shutdown that led to historic flight cancellations and long delays.
7 News Detroit reporter Faraz Javed joins us live from Detroit Metro Airport to check in on where things are at right now, and he's also hearing from travelers. Good morning, Faraz.
Good morning, Ali. It's day 3 of the partial government shutdown, affecting primarily the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees TSA, FEMA, and the U.S. Coast Guard. Now, here at the Metro Airport, you can see TSA agents showing up for work, but without pay. And that's why travelers across Metro Detroit are watching the situation closely to see how things will be impacted this time around.
Doing your full job, being on time, and in 2 weeks, no paycheck, that's got to be rough.
Husband and wife Adrian and Monica Cranford from Sterling Heights are flying to Arkansas this morning. With a friend working as a TSA agent, the shutdown hits home.
Luckily, he still got a smile on his face doing that last one, and we were very concerned.
It's been 96 days since the longest government shutdown in U.S. history ended on November 12th. Macomb resident Leanne Case remembers the 43 days long shutdown that led to flight cancellations and massive delays.
It's frustrating to see it happen this quickly. Families are just very concerned about finances, about different things that they used to didn't have to think about.
The 2025 shutdown impacted multiple agencies across the federal government. The current shutdown is more targeted, focused on DHS funding and tied to political disputes over immigration enforcement reforms.
Now my concern is just that I get where I need to be this morning.
David Fishman, owner of Royal Oaks Cadillac Travel Group, says the immediate impact may be minor, but if it continues into March or April during spring break season, delays could hit travelers hard.
Look at potentially taking the first flight out. Sometimes it helps with things in the morning and getting there. Second of all, you're going to have to get to the airport a lot earlier because if there's shortage in TSA.
TSA workers at DTW and Nationwide are unpaid in both cases, but ICE operations remain funded this time thanks to a cash infusion last year.
We really appreciate the fact that they still come to work with so much uncertainty, and my experience is they do it with a smile and still really helpful.
Now, this morning at the Metro Airport, as you can see, the security lines are moving smoothly. Once again, thanks to the TSA agents who are showing up to work without pay. And keeping that in mind, that's what travelers across Metro Detroit are concerned about, that if this drags, things could impact the upcoming busy travel season. And looking at the McNamara terminal departure screen, so far you don't see any cancellations, but just a handful of delays. Back to you, Allie.
All right, something we'll be keeping a close eye on for us. Thanks.
Political battle is triggering a partial government shutdown, and it could cause some more frustrations at the airport as TSA agents are once again working without pay. Felina Jones has the latest.
Whether you're lining up at San Jose International Security Checkpoint or the Oakland Airport, a warning for travelers. TSA officers are still on the job, but are once again working without a paycheck. That's because of a new partial government shutdown just months after last fall's historic 43-day full government shutdown.
You know, people's lives and livelihoods are being played with here, and it's one of those things that should never happen.
Andrew Cardoso supports TSA agents throughout Northern California through the AFGE union. He also works at the Oakland Airport. He says he and fellow agents are still recovering financially from the last shutdown.
People are just feeling defeated. I mean, this is not something that we should even have to face, especially because ultimately, this has nothing to do with us.
Funding for the Department of Homeland Security expired at midnight Saturday after lawmakers failed to reach a deal on Democrats' proposed restrictions on federal immigration enforcement. Some travelers we spoke to say they're willing to suffer through longer lines if it means new restrictions on ICE.
I don't care. Shut it down. Shut down the government, yeah. But the government's doing completely illegal.
Other travelers are worried what this means for TSA officers in potentially crowded airports.
It's disgusting that they would even consider not paying them to help us get to where we need to get to.
The union, representing roughly 260 workers at Oakland's airport, worries how long this shutdown will last.
This does not just impact officers. This impacts families here in the Bay Area, children, spouses.
AFGE 1260 is working to support union members with resources. For now, union workers say they're committed to coming to work, but stress many of their members have significant commutes, and the longer the shutdown lasts, the harder it is for their members to show up.
For me, eventually, it's going to come down to, do I put gas in the car to go to work for free, or do I put food on the table with that money for my kids? And I know which one I'm going to pick. It's going to be the kids.
And let's now talk about this partial government shutdown remains in effect this morning after Democrats refused to advance a funding deal for the Department of Homeland Security. The shutdown impacts funding for a whole bunch of agencies, or you can see it right here. You have TSA, FEMA, Secret Service, the Coast Guard, but not for ICE or Customs and Border Protection.
This is how we keep Americans safe. We keep them safe through FEMA. We keep them safe through TSA. We keep them safe through the Coast Guard. We keep them safe through Secret Service and so many other things that are funded through this department. Look, they have created this environment by their rhetoric and their failed policies. What they're really holding out for is hoping that we'll cement the failed Biden border policies of the past, and it's not going to happen.
Well, the National News Desk, Ultra Elnashar, breaks down the cellmate, and we're funding talk stand right now. Good morning, Ultra.
Hey, Angela. Democrats here on Capitol Hill insist that DHS appropriations must include changes to ICE after high-profile confrontations on the streets of American cities, like the killings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Now, the changes Democrats want include ICE officers being required to obtain a judicial warrant, a warrant from a judge, in order to search private property, and to stop wearing face masks that obscure their identity. White House border czar Tom Homan calling these asks unreasonable.
We have a rogue agency. Why don't we rein them in? That's what the American people are asking Republicans.
If this was really a serious conversation, they wouldn't be holding the TSA workers or FEMA or the Coast Guard hostage over something that cannot be done by the ridiculous shutdown of DHS.
Now, the partial shutdown is expected to last at least another week, as the House and Senate aren't scheduled to return here to Capitol Hill until February 23rd. And the 24th is President Trump's State of the Union address, which could be overshadowed by this funding fight over his signature issue. I'm Atra Al-Nashar for the National News Desk, America's News Now.
My brother who works TSA. So I think we should be paying these guys just like we should be paying our military and everybody else.
Had a bit of deja vu here at Reagan National Airport, where TSA officers, the men and women you see behind me screening bags and IDs, are on the job today, but they are working without pay again. That's because funding for the Department of Homeland Security expired over the weekend, triggering this partial federal shutdown. And it was just months ago when we saw workers without paychecks during the longest shutdown in U.S. history. About 95% of TSA screeners are deemed essential at the airports, while Congress remains deadlocked on Homeland Security funding. So what do travelers think about this happening again?
I think there's too much infighting within the government. I think they need to work together and just stop all this crap, and let's move the country forward, and let's unite.
My brother who works TSA. So